Okay, I don't know why kids do this, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be exposing this entire generation of kids nowadays. Vaping isn't cool. I don't care what you think. I literally go in front of a mirror and blow a cloud and tell me how you think you're cool. I hate to break it to you guys, 80% of this generation nowadays, especially like the kids in high school, I can easily say I've seen all of them have like vaporizers, nicotine devices, any of that weird stuff that blows a cloud. Hell, it makes sense why so many kids are into weed nowadays. And before anyone says weed isn't a drug in my comments down below, you guys are cringe champ Andes. Weed is a drug. No matter what you say, your doctor says it's a drug, it's a drug. And you know what drugs are? Addicting, like nicotine. And today's story is about how I caught a girl vaping in school and she got majorly in trouble. Now, before anyone calls me a snitch, no, I did not snitch on her, but you guys will figure out how that happened in the story. And on top of that, if you guys haven't left a like already and subscribed, I don't know what you're doing on this channel. So to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, I'm currently live on Twitch down below. So if you guys click in the description down below, you guys can watch me live playing video games, talking to you guys, and telling more crazy stories like this one. Other than that, let's get into this crazy story. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and we'll get back to an insane story. So today's story is about how I caught a girl vaping in school, and the way she got caught was honestly insane, and honestly, there's a little backstory behind it. Basically, back when I was in high school, this was my grade 9 year. So remember, I am clean, brand new into high school, not doing any vaping, nothing. And to this day, I still am the same way. And I remember I ended up, going to the classroom, and I saw there was a class with a girl. I can't say her name, but she had a last name that was very familiar to the school. I remember I go into that classroom, I sit beside this girl, and she's like a young girl that's really attractive. I'm like, hey, like, how you doing? She looks at me, she's like, oh, hi, like, what's going on? I'm like, oh, good, dad dropped me off at school, same old, entering prison. How about you? She looks at me, she's like, oh, you're funny. I'm just kind of like just getting ready for class, I guess. We have a social like pop quiz today, apparently. And I look at her and I'm like, I wasn't told about any pop quiz. How do you know? She looks at me, she's like, oh, like, my mom told me, like, she works here. I look at her, I'm like, wait, your mom's our teacher? And then she tells me, oh, no, she teaches like another class, but like, she like, knows things, whatever that meant. Anyways, I remember I ended up like trying to introduce my name. So I'm like, hi, like, my name's Bubba. She's like, I already know who you are. I'm like, what? She's like, you have a class with my mom. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's cool. Yeah. Class with your mom. W. Yeah, at that point, I knew I was not going to do the devil's tango with this chick because I'm not going to risk it with my own teacher, especially the teacher's daughter, I should say. Don't want to go through that again. Anyways, I remember me and this girl, we started talking about class and stuff. We had our pop quiz show up. And I remember after class ended that day, I ended up going to my friends. I walked up to my friends. I'm like, hey, what's going on, guys? And I remember one of my friends looked at me. He's like, bro, I got something really cool today. I look at him and I'm like, what'd you get? He pulled out this giant box that said smock on it. And he's like, dude, I'm gonna blow clouds. What? You're telling me that you're excited to blow a cloud? I don't know what this guy's like idea was, but I remember we ended up going on the football field and this guy started like, putting juice inside the nicotine device and making it all like weird champ Andy. And he ended up putting his lips on it and sucking on it and blowing clouds. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't the same as looking at bubbles. I thought it was gonna be the same as like looking at cool bubbles float around and you can pop them. Yeah, no, seeing a bunch of smoke in the air, it was just more pollution at that point. I wasn't excited. I remember I looked at him like, dude, you literally look so dumb blowing that cloud. Like, seriously, you look like a stoner. He looks at me, he's like, bro, it's cool. It's the new generation. Trust me, bro. Like, in 2 years from now, even 3, everyone in our school is gonna have one. I remember I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, you're dumb. No way. And funny enough, actually, as a guy in the future, yeah, he was right. Everyone ended up having nicotine devices. Actually, comment down below, how popular is vaping in your school? Probably majorly popular. But anyways, going on. I remember throughout that entire week, more and more kids ended up buying nicotine devices. More kids were vaping, more kids were doing all that stuff. And I remember we ended up having a school assembly. I remember on the announcements, there was a call saying, we're going to have an assembly based on the new nicotine devices being placed in our school. Please head down to the gym. Thank you. Well, me knowing that a bunch of kids were vaping in our school sucked. I'm not gonna lie. In the hallways, in the bathrooms, everywhere we go, there was always kids vaping. Anyways, that day of the assembly, I remember I ended up lining up and getting ready to go to the assembly. And as we sat down in the gym and everything, we ended up starting the assembly. And basically, it was just the basic teacher conversation of saying, if you guys get caught vaping, we will gladly be taking your nicotine devices away and storing it away until your parents come pick it up. Which was a genius thing, by the way, because what parent is going to let their kid vape nowadays? Like, it's disgusting. It's literally disgusting. You're literally smoking juice. You don't even know where it's made from. We don't know enough about it, even to this day. Sorry, I'm going on a rant because, frick vape, but going on. I remember we ended up all like basically looking around in panic because knowing that there were going to be teachers looking around and checking bathrooms for kids vaping is a really bad thing. Me, I didn't care because I didn't vape. I never liked it. I thought it looked dumb. So going on, I remember a week goes by. by, and I remember I ended up going to my socials class, the one I originally went to in the beginning of the storyline. And when I sat down, I remember I ended up seeing the girl that, you know, was the teacher's daughter, and I sat down beside her, and I was like, it's crazy how kids are vaping nowadays, huh? She looks at me, she's like, what's wrong with vaping? It's literally good for you. Like, literally, like, it makes your stress go lower. It's literally a blessing. I look at her, I'm like, you're addicted, aren't you? As if, like, you know, we were on The Walking Dead or something. Like, you're infected, you got a bite or something. I don't know. I'm just trolling, but you guys know what I mean. She looks at me and she's like, oh my goodness, yeah, like, I got this brand new, really colorful one with like a juice called Gummy Bear. There's flavors to this garbage? Dude, I don't know. Apparently, it got worse and worse, and I remember I ended up laughing at her, and I'm like, dude, you're honestly gonna be breathing like crazy the next couple of years, and if you die before me, good luck. Anyways, I ignore her, and, you know, we end up going throughout our day, and I remember it became lunchtime. Now, lunchtime is where people really go on shakedowns. Like, we have people walking around the school making sure kids aren't vaping. I remember me, I had my backpack on, I went to the cafeteria, and I saw the teacher's daughter, and she was just chilling in the cafeteria eating her lunch, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, she's not going out vaping like all the other kids. Maybe I was wrong about her. And then I remember I go to the bathroom, I see all these guys just hitting their nicotine devices. Like, think about it, guys. Every time you go to the bathroom and sit down, imagine looking up and seeing a fat cloud being blown. Yeah, it was just weird, Champ Andy. And I remember I was like just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, gonna take a poop, and then I'm going to go to my class, you know, because I didn't care enough for it. Reminder, I was in grade 9. I wasn't lady slaying that much these days. Anyways, the worst thing ended up happening after this one. After this, I remember I ended up leaving the bathroom, and I went outside. I went outside to quickly go check on my bike at the time because I didn't have a car. I had a BMX bike. If you guys don't know, I used to be a BMX kid back then. And then I remember the craziest thing ended up happening where I saw a girl, and it was actually funny enough, the teacher's daughter blowing fat clouds and vaping. And I remember I was like, oh, like, that's really cringe. So I left, and I decided to walk back into my school. And as I walked into my school again, the person that was walking out was her mom. The teacher's daughter's mom, our teacher, or my teacher, I should say, was coming out and checking if there was any kids vaping. She comes out and she sees her daughter blowing a fat cloud, and oh my God, I didn't want to miss it. I remember I went outside. I was just kind of watching it, spectating, and kind of like putting my head around the corner, peeking and looking and seeing what was going on. And all I hear is, how could you do this? Like, we raised you better than this. There's no way you can be vaping right now in our own school grounds. Do you have any pride in yourself? And all I hear this girl say is, Mom, it's supposed to be cool, and also it's good for you. You know how much stress I've been like not having nowadays because of you? Holy cow, dude. Like, you're telling me that this thing saves you from your parents? I don't know. It was majorly cringe, and her excuse was that she was like stress-free or something, which, I mean, maybe it can happen. I don't know, but still, it's just so weird. I remember the mom, or aka my teacher, ended up walking up to her, grabbing her vape, and smashing it on the ground, saying, you are absolutely dumb. Like, you need severe help. I'm gonna put you in therapy. What? You can go to therapy for nicotine devices? You can go to therapy for vaping? I don't know. Honestly, she might have been just talking bogus or something, but honestly, it was crazy. The amount of yelling that was going back and forth of her saying that it was a good thing to vape and her saying it wasn't, it was just crazy. And long story short, the principal ended up walking up, and he was right behind me. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, what are you looking at? I said, oh, Mrs. found her daughter vaping in the school. Yeah. Oh God. It got worse from there, because I remember the principal had his hand on my shoulder, walking me towards him, saying, is what Bubba's saying true? You found your own daughter vaping in our own school grounds? Great. Dude, I remember this girl that looked at me sharp in the eye, the teacher's daughter. She was staring me down like a hawk, pissed off, angry. And she's like, did you seriously tattletale me? I'm literally going to kill you. Yeah, from there, she got detention, and she wasn't allowed in her school because she got actually suspended for threatening me like that. But you know what? I couldn't control it. Honestly, let this be a lesson to you guys. Don't vape. No matter how cool you think it is, no matter what you see on social media, just don't do it. Any smoke in your lungs is bad. That's final. Change my mind. Anyways, guys, that's basically it for the story today. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Seriously, it means a lot when you guys do. And on top of that, if you guys haven't already, I'm currently live on Twitch, so click the link in the description down below for more crazy stories like this one. Other than that, follow for more embarrassing stories. All right, peace out, guys.